people debating this. Is this a safety device or a distraction? Some schools are cracking down on cell phones in class this year.
They sure are, but not every student and staff member is on board here. And experts say banning these devices outright may not be the best decision. Now, this debate reignited here in Western New York after a Southern Tier school district released its cell phone plan. Bolivar-Richburg officials say students must keep their phones off and in their locker for the whole day. The plan says that removing cell phones will lead to a higher level of learning and engagement for all students. Well, we have definitely, though, heard from some of you at home here tonight on our Facebook page about this new policy. Parents seem kind of split on whether they support a no-phone school day. Some say cell phones are a good tool during emergencies. Others feel they simply don't belong in the classroom.
All right, so now schools have to manage more students with these devices, right? Well, a national survey shows 1 in 5 kids has a phone by the time they turn 8. More than half of kids have a smartphone by age 11. And I spoke with 2 different districts today that have very different cell phone policies. A mental health counselor tells me there can be pros and cons to both strategies.
It was a battle.
Keith Boardman is the principal of Williamsville South High School. He tells me the district took into account feedback from parents, students, and teachers when making its cell phone policy.
Actually, the feedback that we got was a lot of parents didn't want us to just take away cell phones.
And many students, like senior Brenna Fitzpatrick, felt the same way.
It just creates sneaky kids. Like, I know people in middle school, like, you'd put your phone in your pencil pouch and you'd go on it, not even because you had something to do on it, just because it was like, oh, it's not allowed, so let me do it.
She likes the current policy allowing students to use their cell phones during free periods and in the lunchroom, but in the classroom, it's up to the teacher.
We've tried to put some information into our classes about how to use the cell phones properly. What is the proper use of cell phones? Knowing that when they leave here, they're going to be using them out in the real world.
It's a different story in the Bolivar-Richburg Central School District. Students are not allowed to have their cell phones throughout the school day. They have to be kept at home or secured in their lockers. The superintendent tells me this is not a change in policy, but a change in how they're enforcing the existing policy.
We have incidents where cheating was occurring. Game playing, of course, cyberbullying and picture taking. It also feeds into our vaping situation where the students would text each other to meet at a particular place and vape.
I spoke with mental health counselor Lynn Shine. She says if cell phones are allowed in school, it's important to closely monitor how kids are using them.
There are kids that are getting bullied over the phone, which is really something we've been watching for a long time with social media. We're presently in Suicide Awareness Month. And so we do see a huge uptick in suicides, and many are attributing it to social media.
Despite the problems, Shine says an all-out ban doesn't always work.
One of the studies talked about even 65% of the kids are sneaking it in. Why promote hiding it? So it's having it in class and asking for simple kind of rules, which I would like people to do at home as well.
And do you find for the most part kids respect the boundaries that you've set?
They do. They're kids. They push the boundaries. That's part of what they do, and part of our job is to reinforce that.
And many of you have told us that you'd be concerned about emergency situations if your child does not have their phone with them. The superintendent of Bolivar-Richburg tells me if there's an emergency there, students can access phones in the office. He also says the district has emergency response methods to communicate with parents if needed.